Unsurprisingly, the first thing that strikes you about this bike is the way it looks. And I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And Tom behind the camera thinks it is one of the most beautiful things he has ever seen. And we will talk about performance later, but for now I need to talk about how I think it looks. And I'm afraid I don't think it looks beautiful. And this tank looks like somebody's designed it with a pair of wings and then chopped them off. Or maybe a pair of lips kissing up against a piece of glass. Although that's probably a bit too nice of the way to describe it. The back is just too solid. I know it's retro, but I did think when I saw pictures that when I actually came and stood next to it, it would grow on me, but maybe like a carbuncle. I mean, it's just not me.
Husqvana's Vitplien is the Black Arrow Scrambler to its pure street brother, the Vitplien, the White Arrow. Husqvana described the Vitplien as challenging all current design trends. Well, I couldn't agree more with that, but then I've made my views on the design abundantly clear. Sorry, I'm back with the design of it again, I just can't shake it. Okay, let's get to some real facts then. Priced at £5,599, the Husqvana 401 Vitplien is a grand more than the machine it's based on, which is the KTM Duke 390, but you are getting something pretty unique. The only thing I wish it had for that price would be a chunkier sounding exhaust, and I know there's legal limitations, but the stock item is barely audible at tickover. It would be the first and the only thing I'd change on this bike.
I think it's probably fairly clear that I'm not the biggest fan of the way this bike looks. But now that I've had a chance to ride it for a couple of hours, I can give an opinion on how it rides and the engine. And it's a little peach. I was super impressed, and I suppose in some ways I shouldn't be too surprised because it's based on the 390 Duke engine, which is a great engine. In fact, it's exactly the same engine. It is, I think, the smoothest engine of its size I've ever ridden. And the thing probably I'll compare it to is when we test rode the BMW 310 GS, which I thought at that point was smooth. I mean, this thing is fantastic and it is strong. I mean, absolutely. What a blast to ride. And you forget you're on a little bike. That part of it I quite like.
The rest of the kit list actually is pretty good. The engine is a single cylinder, twin cam, 4-valve item, and the combination of the Bosch ECU with the internal balance shaft is what gives it that wonderful smooth feeling. I've said it before and I will say it again, that engine is a peach and probably the best small capacity single cylinder engine that I've tested. You will find a tank mounted luggage rack, which I rather liked. You'll find a sump guard, and you'll find chunky Pirelli Scorpion rally tyres, which certainly means it looks the part of a bike with scrambler aspirations. The Pirelli tyres don't impact its road riding ability, which is an absolute hoot, and they grip fine on a bit of loose gravel. But this is a bike with scrambler aspirations rather than a scrambler built from the ground up. The suspension cannot really take anything other than gentle gravel undulations. Proper bumps will have you out of your seat. The Vitplien is also described by Husqvana as simple and progressive. They continue by saying the bike embraces the simple spirit that originally made street motorcycling attractive. Reduced to the bare functional essentials, this motorcycle is the real deal. It is free of overly extravagant design embellishments. Well, it is a chunkier take on the Vitplien, and the design is free of something. If this engine is so good, I would love to see what they could do with a scrambler version on this, the 701.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the engine on this bike is a total peach. And actually, as a bike to ride around on the A roads, I've had a fabulous time. I think it's fairly clear what my view is on the looks, but Tom and Sam that we've been riding with today, they both think it's the sexiest bike in the world, so what the hell do I know? I think what would be interesting is get a scrambler version of the 701. With that engine, that would be a serious piece of kit. I do think though, this bike, if you're a kind of funky monkey, you know, you're somebody who likes to leave your bike outside the wine bar because it looks cool, you're an A2 licence holder, it's 44 horsepower, but you still want to be able to get out at the weekends, get out on some very dry green lanes and certainly some gravel roads, a little bit of kit on here, it'll be the perfect bike for you. But I wouldn't have one in my garage. I'm still not sure about those looks, really not sure.